Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Gumbo Talk Thursday, and we're here to open your mind. I know, I tell you, sometimes I don't even want to start because I'm just like jamming. We are jamming a trumpet black. It is The Good Life this morning. And I love our first segment of Gumbo Talk Thursday. I'm here with the ladies. I have Rachel to my right, and I have Terry on the line this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Terry. How are you?
Rachel, hello, good morning, ladies. It's The Good Life with Gumbo Talk, and we're ready for a great day.
I know, and we are going to get into the stew this morning. And I know Rachel loves to talk about happy things throughout the show, and I was like, oh, well, we have some happy stuff, and then we have some interesting stuff, and then we have some, like,
depressing,
controversial stuff. So, of course, we're going to start the show with kindness and different random acts of kindness. So I actually have a nice robust list of all kinds of things that you can do. So if you didn't want to do something, I'm like, going to set
the bar.
Yes. I'm like, plant the little seed of, just be kind. Sometimes our complainers don't know. I don't say don't know, but like forget, little things that can. Anyway, I'm going to get into that in a minute. But we're going to talk about, being kind.
Wait, before you do that, do you think somebody who's a complainer doesn't know they're a complainer?
Yes.
Do you think
gosh, yes.
No, they have no clue.
They have no clue.
They just like
none. But I think it's the responsibility of your family and people who are close to you to kind of like pull you to the side and be like, you know what?
Hey, knock it off.
No, seriously, because I told you I'm allergic to negative people. So look here, like short real story. I had a friend come over and she came in and she must have had a rough day and she just went like off and like I was like, why are you being so negative? Like, it just popped out of my mouth. I couldn't even help it. But, we're friends, so it was just like, and she's like, you think I'm being negative? I was like, have you heard yourself?
Is the sky blue?
Have you listened to yourself? I was like, you need to just, like, listen to yourself. And then she looked, she's like, you know what? You're right. Like, she didn't even realize that she was doing it.
Wow. Well, she was just venting to a friend, though.
No, but it was
between a complainer and look, Terry and I are on the phone like 5 times a day. Like, we're not complaining. We're just... But there's difference exhaling about what's going on.
But there's a difference in venting.
Girlfriend talk.
But there's difference in venting and then you're creating it by you're adding fuel to the fire. Like something happened and then she started adding fuel to the fire and she didn't even realize that she was doing it. And I'm like, you're making this situation bigger than it needs to be. And it was at work. So, it was creating problems at work, but she was fueling the fire. I'm like,
okay, so can I tell you what happened to me this week?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So, in my new career as a real estate agent,
I know, I'm so excited.
I know,
for
so
you.
I'm having it's a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying all the people and enjoying a lot of success. So, but anyway, I put a house under contract.
Yay!
Well, thank you, but
I know, right?
no, it's not about that. I put this house under contract, and I'm dealing with this other real estate agent.
Uh-oh.
And the agent got frustrated with just the processes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she went off on me. I was telling Terry about it. And it's like she freaked me out because she just like, this is a very experienced professional person, And she just like totally went off, like her rocker, accusing me of all these things.
In front of you?
Yeah, on the phone. She just went on a tirade. When you talk about the venting thing. But she's not a friend of mine. She's like a professional colleague, right?
Right.
So she goes off. She had no right saying anything she said to me whatsoever. So I was upset for a day. I was like, what was that all about, right? And so she sends an apology note. Email says, wait, this is what I want to tell our listeners. She said, I'm sorry, but here's why I went off on you. And that's not, remember we talked about, like, that's not an apology, right?
Not an apology.
And she can't understand. Well, I've only texted and emailed her since that exchange because I don't want to have any human contact with her. And she thinks because she went off on me and then she said, sorry, but that everything's totally cool. Now, I'm going to be a professional about it. I'm not going to say a word. Of course, if she's listening, she'll figure out who she is. But do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. But I was just saying, like, once you do something like that, you can't take it back. Right. So I may act ladylike and I may act professionally, but I got a long memory. Do you know what I mean? It's a very long memory. And this woman, hauled off at me for no reason under the sun and thinks it's like And she even wrote, and I hope we had a good relationship before this, and I'm assuming we'll have a good relationship going forward. I'll look forward to working with you again in the future. And I'm like, yeah.
Not if you treat me like this.
Yeah, so I'm just saying when we're talking about acts of kindness, it's not just acts of kindness when you're talking about your friend going off. That's what made me think of it. It's just like, once the cat's out of the bag, it's out of the bag.
Right.
It's out.
You can't put it back in the bag.
You really can't. You can try to make amends.
Right, exactly.
But you can't put it back.
But it's never the same.
It's
exactly.
not. It's
so
really
think
not.
about what you say before you actually open your mouth. Like, have that moment of pause. Seriously, and especially in the workplace. Have that moment of pause, because especially if she's working for a company, it's not only a reflection of you, but it's a reflection of your company. And so, really have that moment of pause before you put your foot in your mouth. I'm serious.
Well, I'm just saying when your friend was venting, your friend
Right.
went off and you said she's stirring the pot even more.
Yeah,
right?
like you're kind of, but it's my responsibility as a friend to tell her that. Because if I let her go, I don't say let her, but if she went back to work and continued to do it and didn't even realize what she was doing, I'm like, you're hindering yourself as well as, that's bad karma.
Right.
It is.
Right.
That is. It is.
What Terry has.
So we're going to be kind.
Terry keeps people in check all day long. So
Exactly.
Terry has the best stories of anybody ever of all time.
Exactly. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. I acts of kindness, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the time for Lent, and I'm at church yesterday, and they talked about doing things out of love, because
see?
the greatest commandment of all is love.
Yes.
So when you do something, that act of kindness should be something done out of love, or do it with love, so it says.
Yes.
So and look, let me tell you something. That's a tough one, but that's sort of where I am with doing things right now, and I'm going to try to live my life like that, just to do it. If I do it, that act of kindness, and do it with love.
Can I just
that should be the.
I just want to say, this
way.
is a ridiculous conversation. Do you know that Terry Guerin is like one step below being a Carmelite nun? So for her to be talking about acts of kindness, she's going to try to be better. That's like asking,
we should all try to be
like
better.
some saint to behave better. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, look. Well, here's the deal. But look,
That's funny.
I'm doing a 9-day
She is.
novena for my son-in-law to get a match at LSU. So within that 9-day novena, man, I tell you, today's penance is this, and this is real, ladies. You do no media, which means no radio. Don't listen to radio. Well, this is different. Okay.
You're not listening. You're on it.
So I'm on it. So no radio and no television for the whole day, because that's your act of that's your penance. But also, it's an act of kindness for somebody else, because I'm doing this for someone else. Okay. So
Yes.
there's your act of kindness, and at all times, folks, you gotta sometimes own up to what you do wrong too, because you know what, you may not know that you may complain about stuff that you really shouldn't, but if you think about what you're doing and you come off wrong with complaining, then that act of kindness is going back and say, hey, look, I'm sorry. Right away, not waiting a day, or I had a bad moment. Explain why you went off, because if you went off, it's for probably a reason, knowing the two of you. I can't speak on behalf of anybody else.
But it was probably an issue you had.
We all have our moments.
It was probably an issue you had that, from something else that, they sparked it. Because one of the things I wanted to touch was the ability to act for the welfare of those who are taxing your patience.
Ooh.
That's an act of kindness. It's an act of kindness. Yes, look, did I touch a nerve today? I'm going to repeat that. The ability to act for the welfare of those taxing your patience.
Yes.
Hello,
Wow.
It's an act of kindness. So I'm going to give you a couple, and we'll do it throughout the show because I just think it's fun. Number one, this is easy. Say good morning to a person standing in the elevator next to you. You never know what that person went through on their way, their morning or what happened. Say good morning, give them a smile.
And also when you're walking on the street, I always say hello to people, and
sometimes it shocks people. They look at you like, why are you talking to me? But,
Well, if you're walking on the streets in New York, I don't recommend it. But in New Orleans, I highly recommend it.
We can do that here. Take a minute to direct someone who is lost, even though you're rushing. Oh, and I like this one.
Okay, that would be a man.
No,
I don't want to generalize here.
No, but how many times have we been downtown and you see a tourist kind of looking at a map and trying to find their way? It is nice to just stop and say, where are you trying to go?
Exactly.
And help them out.
Yeah.
Y'all are going to love this one.
That's a great act of kindness, yeah.
Write a letter to your child or any child, maybe a family member, a niece, a nephew, a distant cousin, who could use some extra attention. Kids love getting mail. And actually, email it or physically mail it. Sometimes we don't realize how much that we we point out all of the negative things that our children do. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. But we don't really point out the positive things that they do. So take a little extra time to do a random act of kindness for your child. You know, pick them up and take them to get an ice cream cone. That would probably shock them in the middle of the week to go, you know, what? I can get ice cream? What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Right. Shock them and do, you know, something nice.
That's sweet.
You would be surprised their reaction and, you know, how good they act for at least, you know, 24 hours. I'm serious. You know, I'm serious. And we can all appreciate this right now. And I'm serious. This is something I would really love everyone in the city of New Orleans to do. Because we know all of our meters tickets went up. And that is nothing nice.
It's tough.
Yes, they went up on the 29th.
Well, wait a second. It's not bad enough they went up, but if you miss by a minute, you get a $30 ticket.
That's my point. Yeah. So if you are walking down the street, put coins in an expired meter. Please, y'all. That's the good life.
I'm all in on that one.
We need some random acts of kindness. Yes. Wow. If you are walking down the street, especially in the CBD, because y'all, even in your neighborhoods and stuff. Well, I mean, no, they don't have the meters, but they're like rolling around your neighborhood.
Well, it really is expensive. You know, it's a sad state when it's cheaper to park in a lot than at a meter.
Exactly. Right. It's $30 if you get the ticket. It's $20 in the lot. Park in the lot. Y'all, so if you're walking down the street and you see an expired meter, you know, and you have like a quarter.
That's a nice idea.
Put some money in the meter.
I'm going to really start doing that because I keep quarters in my car, you know.
See?
So I'm actually going to do that.
That's a great act of kindness.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me
You're
about
welcome.
that. Good deal.
That will make lots and lots of people happy. Lots.
Aww, by the way, you know, I think I heard one time that if you feed a meter and it's not your car or something, that technically that's illegal, and they
really
there was some whole story way back when
if they catch
it right. So
well, look, I'm sorry, I was being nice. You know what?
No, I'm sorry. I thought this was my car.
Right. I mean, you know, right. Exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong meter. Oh, right. Oh, that's my car. 3 doors down.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, this is a time where we like to spring clean. So spring clean, get your clothes that, you know, are lightly worn and bring them to, you know, your church, bring them to your park maybe where your child plays or whatever. And those lightly worn clothes, give them back, you know, instead of always, you know, just tossing them out or whatever you may do. Or there may be a family member that, you know, has, you know, a couple children that, you know, it may be harder for them to, you know, keep up with the fashions or things like that. You know, maybe give back like that. That's a great act of kindness.
And also if you're looking for a place to bring some clothes, the Junior League Thrift Shop on Ferret Street would always be very appreciative.
Yes.
And I just want to remind people, it's a wonderful organization. It's all volunteers. And, you know, they really do a great service to the community. So that's about the 4200 block of Ferret, I think.
Absolutely. It's right there by Ferret and Balance.
It's between Jefferson and Napoleon, in the middle.
Right smack in the middle.
Yeah.
I know they have that donut shut up right across the street. I don't know because I've eaten it, but, you know.
I send mine to the Goodwill right here on Tulane by Jeff Davis Parkway because I do a lot of spring cleaning all the time, and I also ask other people, hey, you want me to pick up, like my family members, hey, I'm going to Goodwill, do you have any things you want to donate? And you know,
but don't give away any of your shoes because I'm getting all the shoes. Do not give away any of your shoes.
Let me tell you what I'm doing with my shoes.
No.
I've decided to hold the shoes.
Thank you.
And the ones that are heels, I am going to decorate. That's not really worn. I'm going to decorate them for my girlfriend that's riding in Muse. She has a very AKA busy life.
Yes.
And, and since
keep your shoes for Muses.
But before you start decorating, I got to come over.
Yeah,
I gotta get first dibs.
I did it this year. I did like 36 shoes. OMG. Right. Keep your shoes. We need them. Well, we have a first-time caller on the line. Wayne, welcome to The Good Life. We're opening your mind to living differently in the world. Acts of kindness.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Wonderful.
I was talking about the parking tickets.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a lady came through my neighborhood yesterday, matter of fact, and she people park in front of the door, and she put tickets on it because it was not in the right. They say it was against traffic.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Exactly, y'all.
Yeah, and the steering wheel has to face the street.
Yeah.
You're steering. But you know what? I'm glad that you're calling, and I'm letting you. What neighborhood was this? Which neighborhood? What area of the city?
New Orleans East.
Y'all, they are all the way in. Yeah, no, we're not kidding. They are all over.
I would think you'd be safe out there.
You are not safe anywhere.
There's a lady in a little white city pickup truck, got the city symbol on the side, riding around a parking meter, like, riding through the neighborhood, putting tickets on people because they're not parking the right direction.
The city obviously needs money, and they're trying to get it any kind of way.
Wait.
Right.
But I'm just bringing this up so everybody park their cars in the right direction because they're not going to get paid off for us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Wayne.
Also, if that happens to you and you're not notified of that by law, then you have a right to go to court and plead innocent. If that meter person doesn't show up, they have to wipe the ticket.
Hello, Terry. That's the good life.
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you so much, Wayne, for your call. We are going to take a quick break,
really
but yes, y'all, watch how you're parking, pay your fines, put some coins in an expired meter. That's an act of kindness. It's the good life. You will help somebody, and it will come back to you twofold. This is the good life. It's Gumbo Talk Thursday, and we'll be right back. L&R Security keeps our family, friends, and event goers safe. And to do that job, they are looking for you. L&R Security Services is now hiring persons for the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, armed and unarmed guards. All interested persons should contact L&R Security Office at 504-943-3191. Fill out an application at L&R's office at 3930 Old Gentilly Road. That's New Orleans, Louisiana. To become one of the proud workers of L&R Security, the minimum requirements are 18 years of age, a completed work application, and criminal background check, 2 forms of ID, whether it be a driver's license, state ID, military ID, social security card, or other forms of picture ID. L&R Security is looking for qualified employees to assist in keeping the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival safe. They are looking for you. Again, contact them at 504-943-3191. 504-943-3191. L&R is always looking for armed and unarmed guards. If this is your profession, they're looking for you.
Hi, this is Norman Robinson. New Orleans East Hospital is open and providing quality health care in your neighborhood. The New Orleans East Hospital is bringing our finest physicians into a beautiful new facility where you receive compassionate caring service. Emergency room services at New Orleans East Hospital are some of the best in the region. To learn more, visit our website at noehospital.org. Your health matters to us at New Orleans East Hospital.
Carter Business Development delivers. For businesses to compete, they must have access. Let CBD be your bridge for business development services, radio advertising, social media marketing, brand ambassador, outreach, and access. Contact Carter Business Development at 504-400-7127 or email Eileen@tglradioshow.com. Carter Business Development creates unfolding opportunities. CBD connects the dots from where you are to where you want to be. Join the good life now with Carter Business Development, 504-400-7127, 504-400-7127. As quoted, a man who stops advertising to save money is like a man who stops a clock to save time. Let CBD save you time and give you access. Call 504-400-7127, 504-400-7127. Take the steps required for access so you can live the good life too with Carter Business Development. That's 504-400-7127.
Back on the air. Let's go to the phones. Caller, let me help you.
Hi, so I've been trying to get my landlord to fix my washing machine for weeks, but he keeps avoiding me. What do I do?
Excellent question. Well, have you been to AT&T?
Why? Is my landlord there?
No, but when you have AT&T Wireless and DirecTV, you can get unlimited data.
Sounds great. But how will that fix my washer?
Well, it won't. But now that AT&T and DirecTV have joined forces, you can enjoy your favorite DirecTV shows on your phone while you're counting quarters at the local laundromat.
Sweet.
Sweet indeed. AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Come into AT&T now and get the Samsung Galaxy S6.
Must have eligible TV service. If you're not eligible, AT&T will move you to a new plan and overage charges may apply. After 22 gigabytes of data usage, AT&T may reduce speeds. TV content varies by device, location, and package. Monthly and other charges, usage, and other restrictions apply. See store for plan details.
Awesomely amazing, the facts made clear. Data News Weekly, the paper to cheer. The People's Paper for natural growth. Honor Honorable achievers achieving the most. Data News Weekly, the future of our youth. In the city of New Orleans, without excuse. Understanding the expression, Black Lives Matter, yet we're failing to climb the ladder. The absence of love, the missing link. It's time we commit to effectively think, uplifting our women, families as well. Safer communities in order to excel. Managing anger, developing our minds. Data News Weekly, preventing decline. Restoring our decency, restoring our faith. Thoroughly conscious, removing disgrace. The best of character constantly applied. Self-determination, no one denied. Mothering children, mothers up to par. The purpose of life beyond a star. So let us prioritize what is urgently needed. Data News Weekly, regression defeated. No longer distracted, no longer confused. So great is the substance of Data News.
Pick up your copy of Data News Weekly today.
Are you looking for a better way to get fit? Bored with the same old routines? Looking for results or a way to instill discipline in the kids? Tiger Rock Martial Arts is the answer with Taekwondo, kickboxing, and self-defense classes. Tiger Rock diversifies your training in ways that allows individuals of all ages and fitness levels to feel like a champion. Join Tiger Rock today. TigerRockNola.com or 504-455-9694. That's 504-455-9694 with a 3-class starter pack starting for only $38, which includes your training uniform. Learn, grow, and succeed with Tiger Rock's 3 convenient locations: Old Metairie, West Bank, and Clearview. There's no better time to start gaining strength, skills, and protection for life than now. 504-455-9694. 504-455-9694. See you on the mat.
WBOK, real talk for real times.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are back on Gumbo Talk Thursday, and we're here to open your mind. The Good Life Radio Show is brought to you by Morris Reed Jr., a New Orleans law firm. If you have been hit in a car accident or charged with a crime, call 504-488-HELP. That's 504-488-4357. 504-488-4357. The Morris Reed Jr. Law Firm is a full-service law firm that fights vigorously to get you the money you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or you have been charged with a crime, call Morris Reed Jr. and let their experienced, highly qualified attorneys help you with expert legal help today. Call 504-488-HELP. That's 504-488-4357. 504-488-4357, because that is the good life. We have Rachel to my right, and we have Terry on the line. Ladies, we're going to get into the stew a little bit. I think I'm kind of going to put you on the spot with this conversation, because we're going to talk about women. And this is a conversation that the guys really need to be involved in as well. You know, sometimes they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about the women, or I don't want to know. But guess what? We need everybody to be involved in this conversation, because it affects all of us. I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to get your response, and then I'm going to tell you what the answer is. How do you think, and I want to thank Jacques Moriel for sending me this information, because, you know, Jacques and I have a great relationship. So, you know, we send each other stuff back and forth, and I was like, Jacques, I have to talk about this today. So how do you think Louisiana ranks with regards to women?
In terms of their pay?
In terms of economic and social well-being, health care, and safety.
Well, just from the way you set it up, it has to be terrible. It's either 49th or 50th.
I shouldn't have said it that way. I wanted your opinion.
That's my vote. I locked it in. Final answer, 49 or 50.
What do you think, Terry? How do you think Louisiana women rank nationally with regard to economic, social well-being, health care, and safety? Terry? I don't know if you heard me.
Sorry, yes.
That's okay. How do you think Louisiana women are ranking nationally?
Louisiana women are ranking?
Yes. Look, why is this a funny question?
It's because have callers hating me.
I don't understand why this
is. Because I think that with Louisiana women ranking in, okay, I'm sorry, somebody walked in my office.
No, it's okay. Well, guess what, y'all?
Polls or overall?
No. I'm going to give it to you.
In everything.
We rank dead last.
I got it right. Wait,
for women.
You all have to buy me lunch. You all have to buy me lunch.
I said you didn't call us hating me.
Dead last for women's economic and social well-being, and 49 out of 51 for women's health care and safety. Dead last.
Oh, I agree.
I consider it dead last for both of them, to be perfectly honest.
Folks.
Are you serious?
Well, now now that we've, it's a very serious topic. So let's be serious about our discussion in this. What are the contributing factors?
Well, I'm going to go into this because this was off of, it's a wallethub.com, and the Daily Advertiser published this on March 1st. Louisiana ranks as one of the worst states for women, according to a new Wallet Hub study. Like, really? A new study shows Louisiana at the bottom of the list for the most women-friendly states. Looking at data like median earnings for female workers, women's preventative health care, and shares of female-owned business, Wallet Hub ranked Louisiana as number 51 in women's economic and social well-being and number 49 in women's health care and safety. Categories that hurt Louisiana's score included percentage of women living in poverty and female homicide rate. Did y'all hear that? Women living in poverty and female homicide rates. Hello.
Wow.
Like, I know it's really like defeating, and it's really sad that, and we know our legislators are in Baton Rouge right now. It's really sad that we can't get equal pay in Louisiana. Like, I don't understand the problem. And when you even have female legislators who are fighting against getting equal pay, like whose Kool-Aid are you sipping? Because this is a family, and if you're in a team and a partnership, don't you want your significant other to bring just as much to the table if she does the same job as somebody else? It can only help you out. So this isn't just a female issue, it's a family issue, and that affects all of us. And if our health is declining due to all of these other things, I mean, think about all the things, like we procreate. I mean, our health is important, right?
This topic's making my uterus hurt.
Right? I'm serious, but the funny thing is, I've said this on the radio before, but it is so funny. If our uterus, shot bullets, we would not have it wouldn't be so much focus. Think about it.
Well, I want to talk about this.
There would be no legislation on our uteruses if we shot bullets, because, it would be freedom of everything. Don't touch the uterus. It shoots bullets. I need my uterus. I need to have it. But they want it in other ways, right? They want it in other ways.
Terry, I wish you were in the studio to see the look on this girl's face.
I'm serious, because it's ridiculous.
Open and she probably has a pink flesh tone.
It is. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, now why is there such a pay gap, especially in Louisiana? What is the basis for that?
My personal opinion.
Yeah, what is your personal opinion?
We have it has gone across party lines, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And we have a legislature that is predominantly Republican, who is not on the side of equal pay. So either we call them and bombard them with our viewpoint, and I mean male and female, because if your wife is working, I'm sure you want her to bring home, if she's bringing home an extra couple $1,000s a year, it would help you out. So, male and female, we need to get on this issue so we can have equal pay, because there's no reason why we shouldn't. We like to point our fingers at all these other countries in the world. They need to have a democracy. We don't even pay each other equally. Are you serious? Point the finger at yourself. When you live in a glass house, stop throwing stones.
Well, I can appreciate, well, I don't agree, but I mean, I could understand if with all the divisiveness in politics, if you had, you did not want to raise minimum wages and things like that because, people who are making money, their job is to keep costs low and labor costs low, and people who are the workers, their goal should be to get as much money as they can, right? But that would mean it would be for men and women. Why is it that it's only geared towards the women? In other words, if you're going to keep costs low, that's a conversation I can appreciate having,
Right.
Exactly.
But I don't understand why it's specifically targeting women, that they're below the... You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't understand that.
Let me give you another little tidbit. Even as women outnumber men in all but 9 states today. Did y'all hear me? Women outnumber men in all but 9 states today. Much work remains to be done in the name of social progress. Gender gaps as well as discrimination and violence against women continue to persist in the United States and throughout the world. Here at home, for instance, women represent nearly 3/5 of all minimum wage workers. Did y'all hear me? 3/5 of all minimum wage workers are women. And in the 19 states that refuse to expand their Medicaid programs under the Affordable Care Act, women constitute the majority of the poor and the uninsured adults.
Okay, so they're saying that it's because more women, there's a larger majority of women who are in minimum wage jobs.
Yes.
So is it against, I'm just asking, is it people against raising the minimum wage, or is it against women? In other words, if women are most of the people getting the minimum wage, then is it against women or is it against raising the minimum wage?
It's against everything.
I know, but you see what I'm saying, though. It's just,
it's against
are women just
all of it.
Are women
It's
in trouble
greed.
because they're more? Well,
it's greed.
Right.
For me, it's greed.
Right.
I'm like, the 1% is outranking the rest of the United States by numerous amounts. Like, how much is too much? Like, do you really need that much? Like, is an extra million? You know what an extra million can do for a couple families compared to it just sitting in your savings accounts accumulating more money? And what it can do for the country? Mm-hmm. I mean, the disparity gap is just growing. At what point are we going to open our minds to living differently in the world? And we talk about random acts of kindness. And, I said I was going to throw it in all day. A random act of kindness is to send an email, a letter, a call to your legislator and let them know that you are for, equal pay. It's a random act of kindness. It costs you absolutely nothing. Reach out to your legislatures during this session and let them know that you are for equal pay. What does it cost you?
Nothing. And Aline, just to roll back for a second, since we're talking about the letter and acts of kindness, you stated that you should write your child. I'm going to compliment my husband on that. He has been writing our girls, our 2 daughters, since they started, college and went away. He writes them every other week, puts some money in it, and always say, hey, buy yourself a malted or something like that, something dumb. But he's been writing them. When my daughter got married almost 3 years ago, he stopped. He figured, hey, she's married now. I'm not going to write letters to her. Well, she came to the house, and he posts them on the refrigerator, and then when he writes another set, he moves them out of the way and puts them on the side, to the front and to the side. Anyhow, she said, Dad, why did you stop writing me? And he said, because, you're married, you have a husband now. She goes, but you're still my father. So he kicked up the writing of the letters. And here's the deal. When our daughters would receive their letters, my daughters, when they were in college, they would have letter reading night, and they would sit there with their suite mates and read the letters. Now that they're living on their own, they read the letters, and they always, call a girlfriend or somebody over because they don't want to do it by them. They just want to share that. And that is one thing my husband has always done. And my oldest daughter is 32 years old, so he's been doing it for quite some time. Yes. But he does it for both girls, no matter where they are. He writes them a letter every other week. Our youngest daughter responds back, by mail. She writes him a letter. The oldest one by text message. So fathers, this is a challenge for you. Yes. Do that act of kindness. Write to your daughters. They would love to hear from you. And when they're even married to somebody else, don't stop the letters from coming.
Your father is that first man in your life. And having that relationship helps you understand your worth.
Yes.
Did y'all hear me? that
Absolutely.
first male
it also
relationship
has a lot-
helps you. Yes, it helps you understand your worth.
It also is going to reflect on what you're going to choose yourself. So.
It absolutely. And so let's do that. Let's pay attention to our women. We have a lot of female issues, and they're not female issues, y'all. They're family issues. They're family issues. So this is The Good Life. Stay tuned. Gumbo Talk will be right back.
Gentili Italian Pie is home to the $5 Family Happy Hour. Specials on pizza, wings, and drinks Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Gentili Italian Pie does fresh for the entire family. Salads, pizza, pasta, wings, and oven-baked sandwiches. Gentili Italian Pie offers lunch and dinner in a new, modern atmosphere surrounded by big screen TVs. Dine in or carry out by calling 504-826-9180. That's 504-826-9180. Relax. Have a drink from the fully stocked bar or beer on tap while your order is made from the freshest ingredients. Gentili Italian Pie, 4706 Paris Avenue, is home where everybody knows your name. So bring the family to Paris and Marabou for the $5 Family Happy Hour, Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's Gentili Italian Pie. Dine in or carry out. 504-826-9180. That's 504-826-9180. You gotta try the pie. That's the original Italian pie, located at Paris and Marabou in Gentili.
L&R Security keeps our family, friends, and event goers safe. And to do that job, they are looking for you. L&R Security Services is now hiring persons for the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, armed and unarmed guards. All interested persons should contact L&R Security Office at 504-943-3191. Fill out an application at L&R's office at 3930 Old Gentilly Road. That's New Orleans, Louisiana. To become one of the proud workers of L&R Security, the minimum requirements are 18 years of age, a completed work application, and criminal background check, 2 forms of ID, whether it be a driver's license, a state ID, military ID, social security card, or other forms of picture ID. L&R Security is looking for qualified employees to assist in keeping the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival safe. They are looking for you. Again, contact them at 504-943-3191. 504-943-3191. L&R is always looking for armed and unarmed guards. If this is your profession, they're looking for you.
This is your legal line of the day, brought to you by the Hilliard Law Firm. When a family member who owns a home or other property dies, the legal ownership of their property is transferred to their heirs. But this does not happen automatically. The process of transferring ownership from the deceased to their heirs is called a succession. In many instances, when the bank or financial institution is alerted that an account holder has passed away, the bank account of the deceased will be frozen until the proper legal documentation is provided. So whether the deceased owned immovable property such as a house or just a bank account, the heir or heirs may have to open a succession in order to obtain ownership of the property. If you are faced with the death of a loved one, please consult an attorney who will provide you with advice that is specific to your situation. This was your legal line of the day, brought to you by the Hilliard Law Firm. For more information, call 504-729-6133.
Attention band directors. If your school has a marching band, concert band, or jazz band, please consider submitting an application for the Class Got Brass contest. And your chance to win up to $10,000 for your school's music program. Class Got Brass is a program of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation to support music education in schools while also promoting the brass band tradition. Middle schools and high schools are invited to create a brass band of up to 12 members and to perform classic songs from the brass band repertoire. Then they'll take part in the main event, a Battle of the Bands, on Sunday, March 20th in Armstrong Park. At stake are more than $30,000 worth of instruments, instrument repair, and other supplies. Every band that participates will get a prize. Find out all the details at ClassGotBrass.com. The deadline to apply is March 7th. Class Got Brass is presented by the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation.
Hi, this is Norman Robinson. New Orleans East Hospital is open and providing quality health care in your neighborhood. The New Orleans East Hospital is bringing our finest physicians into a beautiful new facility where you receive compassionate caring service. Emergency room services at New Orleans East Hospital are some of the best in the region. To learn more, visit our website at noehospital.org. Your health matters to us at New Orleans East Hospital.
WBOK, New Orleans.
Good morning, and welcome back to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Gumbo Talk Thursday, and we're here to open your mind. We are here on Gumbo Talk Thursday. I have the ladies in with me today. I have Radio Rachel on my right, and I have Terry on the line. And y'all, this is kind of an interesting topic. It's been coming up, and honestly, I really didn't want to give it airtime. But because it has gotten so out of control, it kind of has to have airtime. There is not saying an underlying, obviously we know that there is racism in the world, but it has really come to a head in so many different areas, and it has really come to a head in our politics and the presidential campaign. And we all know how Donald Trump disavowing David Duke, and how he was kind of eking it out with that interview, and kind of stepping on toes around it. Right. But I mean, we in Louisiana know about David Duke, and obviously Donald Trump knew about him from years ago because he had a conversation and a interview.
Remember those bumper stickers, vote for the crook, it's important.
Right. Exactly. So we're like, with that being said, it's not just coming out in that way. It's coming out in other ways. And Donald Trump's name is actually being used as a racist slur. And so I'm going to give you a story from the Huffington Post, and I will take calls. I know I have calls on people waiting on the line, so thank you so much for holding. And this is from the Huffington Post. High school players at Perry High School in Perry, Iowa. It's a school that's usually diverse for the area. Were met with chants of USA and Trump, Trump, Trump from fans of an opposing team during a game on Monday night. Players told the station that the chants were directed at their Latino players, referencing Trump numerous times regarding as offensive remarks about the Latinos. The station notes that some people even quoted Trump directly about what he plans to do with immigrants and their children, probably alluding to Trump's vow to deport every undocumented immigrant in the country. The Perry Blue Jays are turning the racist rants into positive energy, however. They said as soon as they hear something like that, it just triggers me and it makes me strive for more and to do it for their team, their coaches, and their community. That's what one of the seniors from the school said. So they said between the people who maybe think Abe Lincoln went too far in freeing the slave, the wildly racist responses to the Huffington Post reporter received after tweeting about this is what they're really starting to realize, that this racist mentality has just kind of been underlying, and it's coming forward with the Trump campaign. So what do you think about this? Because, they're like, oh, the Republican Party isn't racist, or, of course, their little facets and little nooks and crannies that are racist, but there really seems to be an underlying tone. And now you're saying children, another generation coming up behind.
Well, that's the shameful
this
part.
Racist.
It's, we always have hope that the future generations, things will continue to improve.
Right.
And when you see it take a step backwards, that's the heartbreaking thing.
Exactly. So I know I have Coleman who has been holding on the line. So Coleman, welcome to The Good Life. You are here on Gumbo Talk Thursday with the ladies. We're getting into the stew. I know you wanted to talk about maybe the women's issues as well as the Trump and the racist issue. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
To the ladies, and thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
I'm going to run through 6 of them.
Okay.
All right. The first one is ladies need to work with children. Secondly, men like to keep ladies in a sub-service position. 3, too many women in the workforce. 4, lack organization. enough organization. In other words, organized labor. The fifth is lack of education, and the sixth one is lack of enough opportunities for ladies.
Mm-hmm.
So all that plays into what you're talking about, because, if you have a child and you got bills to pay, you're going to get whatever job that you're going to have for you, and you get locked into it.
Mm-hmm.
But on the college level, there are more women graduate from college, but still you're working, but you're getting paid less because basically men still is in charge of businesses and how the business structure works.
Right, and we still have to pay back the same student loan.
Women are very competitive against each other. So that plays into y'all opportunity as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think Coleman could just hit everything exactly and succinctly on the head. I mean, I agree. I think his analysis is it in a nutshell. I mean, I think he's 100% right.
Absolutely.
Eileen,
yes.
Is my check in the mail?
Yeah, what's 10% of nothing? When you figure it out, it'll be coming.
When I'm paid equally, yes.
All right.
Then you'll never get the check.
When I'm paid equally, I will send that check.
When you're paid equally, that won't happen.
So I need you to call your legislator and say, I need Eileen to be paid equally so that we can all live the good life and I can get my check. So that is the deal. Absolutely. So what do you ladies think about that? All of the above.
He's 100% correct. There's nothing.
He is.
He hit everything exactly.
He nailed it.
It was brilliant what he said. Really brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coleman. That's why we love our callers. And if you're interested in joining the conversation, 504-260-9265, 504-260-9265. We were discussing, women's equality and the state of the women in Louisiana since we're last at, all of the things that matter, in my opinion. And, has Trump dropped the GOP's mask of conservatism or certain types of conservatism, because I don't want to say all, now officially being the same thing as racism, like an underlying racism? And is there, a kind of like what Chris Rock was talking about, for society racism or a fraternity, that type of racism where, this is our club, you just can't enter type thing. Especially with seeing, the children,
Well, let's go
doing
back to this incident. Instead of just talking generally,
go ahead.
because I'm always reluctant to just sort of lump everything in one big thing. But first of all, shame on the school. If I'd been the principal of the school, of either of those schools, I would have gotten the other principal together or whoever was representing the other school, and I would have stopped the game.
Right.
That's what I would have done.
Right.
I would have stopped the game. I would have said, we're not going to tolerate this kind of behavior. You can either shut up or you can leave. Which is it going to be?
Right.
I mean, so I blame the people, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yes, I can't control what everybody thinks, and I can't control how everyone feels. But I sure don't have to allow a situation to escalate.
Absolutely.
So I say shame on the authorities that were in charge of that game that allowed that situation to continue. Number one, that's my first response to that situation. Second of all, I don't know what to make. I'm sure, I'm like most people in America, I don't know what to make of any of this politics. The whole thing is ridiculous, and I'm so oversaturated.
Have you ever seen
It's like a reality TV show.
Race
It's
like
not,
this?
It's not like politics. It's like a reality TV show. I feel like I'm watching, the Real Housemen of politics or something. It's ridiculous.
That's pretty.
But on the topic, and I am absolutely no fan of Donald Trump, but I would like to say that, people made a huge stink about his thing about David Duke. Oh, of course it was horrible. Then you hear that his daughter and his son-in-law are both Jewish and they have Jewish grandchildren. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, so, how much of this is an act or how much of this is just the big show and the buffoonery and the how to get my sector of people to vote or whatever it is.
And was David Duke doing it for some, publicity? Because he's been on the news for the past 3 days on national news. And who was talking about him before that?
Right. Shame on the news for even saying
I can't a whole lot, and that's what he probably wants.
Exactly.
Right, you know what I mean? So it's just, David Duke is old news. Shame on anyone who affiliates with him, associates with him, or anything else, just
because we're giving him a platform.
Right. So it's just, to me, I like to go back to the crux of the issue, which is
Yes.
that school and that game. And my attitude is that, there is racism, there is isms, you know what I mean? There is
Right.
bigotry on all sides from all communities against other people. That is a universal thing. But shame on the people who are running that game that they
Absolutely.
allowed that situation to go on. So to me,
Absolutely.
that's really more my response. Not that it's racism and we should do this and it's a Trumpism and all that. I put all that aside. I just say shame on that school because in that moment you had a chance to educate these young people on what that was not tolerated or what they shouldn't be doing and you didn't stop it.
And you
so
know what?
Shame on you.
I'm glad you brought up that point. I'm glad I wanted you to complete that thought because I want to take exactly what you said and put it in a different platform. How about when Mr. Trump 4 years ago was saying that our president was a Muslim and he wasn't, able to be, he isn't electable because he can't be the president of the United States? Where were the leaders of the Republican Party saying, slow your roll, that's not right, that's not what it is? President Obama is absolutely the president, and we need to just respect the position. If
Right.
not, if you agree or disagree with what his
Well,
policies are, he's the president of the United States.
It was only till recent years that they stopped saying he wasn't even American, that he was
Exactly.
Kenyan.
So my point,
I'm
exactly,
like,
that's my point. So how can you
what?
expect the children to do that if the parents and the leaders of that generation aren't doing that?
Correct.
And so you've had 8 years of, letting all of these racial innuendos slide, but now when it comes to a head and it's making your party look bad, then you want to say something. But there's been things said for 8 years and you didn't say anything.
Well,
It's like it's been boiling and boiling and boiling, and now that it's hot, I don't want it to be hot.
Well, come on. The Republicans need minority votes if they're going to win. So, I mean, everyone,
Right.
everyone plays to the
Right.
crowd. I don't pay attention to any of them at this point. It's reality TV. Why are you getting all worked up about it? It's ridiculous.
I just feel like it's sad
you know,
that what
it's
it's
sad.
bringing out of the country.
Well, of course it's sad. But really,
sad.
I still believe, and you know me, you always accuse me of being like, I'm a cup is half full kind of a girl. So I'm still going to say.
Right, and I'm like, the cup is refillable.
Right. So I'm just saying, I believe in my heart of hearts that the majority, the vast majority of Americans are all rational, reasonable, fine, upstanding, unbigoted, you know what I mean, straightforward people, live and let live. And you
Thank
only
you.
hear
And we need them to stand up.
Right. You only hear about the fringe people who, on all issues, on any issue, you only hear about the fringe because they're the ones who scream the loudest.
Exactly.
Right.
So with our topic today of being random acts of kindness, we're going to be talking about this, through this Lenten season and through Easter. That's what I really want to, open your mind to doing something differently. When you see an injustice taking place, stand up for someone. It's a random act of kindness. It absolutely costs nothing. Stand up for what you know is right, because being silent is only perpetuating the situation.
Actually, you should stand up
Amen.
even if
Stand
it costs
up.
you something.
And
I just
you know
wanted-
what? Even if it does
I'm
cost
sorry,
you
I feel
something,
a little
yes.
differently.
Something, stand
Yes.
up. I agree.
Stand
Well
up for
put,
something.
ladies.
Absolutely. Open your mind to living differently in the world. Stand up for something. When you see something happening, if you were a parent that was at this school and you saw the children being bullied by the other team,
Right.
holding up Trump signs and wrapped in their American garb saying, this is what America is. No, this isn't what America is. We're going to stand up. So stand up for somebody. You know a situation of injustice. Everybody does. Stand up for them. Open your minds to living differently in the world, and let's stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves or someone who doesn't have a voice, especially those in media and who have outlets to speaking. If it's one person, our pastors, or if it's, 100 people, or if it's 1,000 people, stand up and do what you know is right, because that's an act of kindness, and that is the good life. So any final thoughts, ladies?
Well, just one other thing. Your voice is very important.
Yes.
Which means that Saturday is an election day. Exercise your right to vote. Get out and have a voice, because you don't have a voice if you don't vote.
Absolutely.
It goes, and here, for the act of kindness that you can do an act of kindness for the people that have spent their hard-earned money to run for the seat that they so desire.
Yes.
Get out and vote. Exercise your right, then have a voice.
Take somebody to the polls. It's another act of
and when
kindness.
you pass that meter,
Yes, and feed the meters.
And don't park the wrong way on the street.
Don't park the wrong way. And look, even in your own neighborhood, park in your driveway. Don't park crooked. Don't park, don't have one tire on the crack because you will get a ticket.
Ooh, they're looking for you.
They're looking for you. This is Gumbo Talk Thursday. We definitely got in the stew. Make sure you stay tuned tomorrow for The Good Life. I'm out.